Good evening. My name is Juan Escobar, and this is my wish list and defects. For my wish list, I would like to show patterns to instead of showing in the bottom like it does here. I would like it better to show on the left side on the table that you can scroll up and down. Also, I would like to start a process by Start FIU or the patent office where there actually will be submitting more stories into the Google Sheet that we created in order to have more stories. Again, that is my wish list for this project. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Emmanuel Nuama, and I will be presenting the shortcomings and wish list for the patent search engine feature. Regarding the shortcomings, there are two problems with the patent search engine. The first problem is that I had to use Course Anywhere to make the API request. This resulted in the data load being slower and not appearing properly within the progress bar. The second problem is that inventor names are not displaying when there isn't an option for an English representation in the data returned from EPO. This problem is the result of an if statement I used to only show the EPO version of the patent details. For my wish list, there are a few features I wish I had the time to implement. The first feature is additional advanced search options that would let users search for patents by category, language, and status. The second feature is to enable cross-origin requests in the backend so that Cores Anywhere would not be needed to make HTTP API requests. The last feature would be for more details to display when viewing the EPO patent category description. That is all. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Cesar Rojas and I'll be presenting this wish list. The first thing that I would like to add if I had more time are more APIs. This was a big task. Looking for free ones was really hard. The ones listed here, full contact, white pages, Google, those are paid services. And USA.gov had a free business contact search, but it was deprecated and taken down. The next wish list item is migration to Angular 1.7.5. The project proposal stopped working after I had updated. I don't know why. I ran out of time to investigate because it was after a series of fixes that I had done. So I just left it at 1.5.11 instead of 1.5.0, so it was somewhat of an upgrade. Next item is Twitter Bootstrap integration with data tables. There's theming available for data tables to be integrated with the Bootstrap library, but it messed up the pagination buttons. I tried to replicate this problem on JS Fiddle or outside of the app, but even with the same version numbers that the app uses, it works fine outside the app. I think it's because at the time when I was testing it, Bootstrap was included in the gulp file, but I moved it outside of the gulp file because we were no longer able to get fonts. You have to set up the gulp file to be able to use fonts, and it looked very complicated. I didn't have enough time to do it. The next item would be to mirror services in case the dev token goes bad. So just have Yelp 1 and Yelp 2 instead of just one Yelp with different tokens. And we need to move Yelp to the back end because we're not supposed to make client-side calls to Yelp. We're using a service called Cores Anywhere to be able to accomplish this. So they just wrap our request and make the AJAX call themselves and then pass it back to us. But we don't want to rely on that anymore. And we need and we could set up the REST services so that it returns the same exact model that data tables expects. The front side code, there's a lot of code that translates the JSON to data tables compliant models. The last thing is to actually use the Synon.js mocking framework with QUnit. We wrote QUnit tests for unit tests, and we used Selenium for acceptance testing, but we could use some more integration tests using the Synon mocking framework. I want to go over more of the Angular problems in case somebody wants to take this on in the future. Angular deprecated the http.success and replaced it with .den, and there's a lot of controllers that use the .success function that need to be changed to the .den. This might be causing the problem with the proposals. I don't know. It seemed I mainly tested this in user registration controller to make sure you can still log in. It seemed to work, but there are other areas in the app that needs to move from this success function to .den. The Angular deprecated this lowercase function. It's a utility function that Angular had, and Text Angular used this, which is an older package version that was moved to a later version that actually supports Angular 1.6 and above. But there's still other packages that haven't migrated, so that's why you need to append that functionality back. Then Angular 1.6 appends exclamation point to routes by default, and the old version does not. It just has the pound sign. So you can go back to the old behavior if you read this Stack Overflow article. And then once I figured these 3 issues out, I ran into the roadblock of project proposals breaking. The submission breaks, just stops working. And I ran out of time to investigate, because you only have 2-week sprints, so you have to turn in something every 2 weeks. So I had to move on really quickly. Going back to the pound sign exclamation point issue at Angular 1.6, this is a problem because there's a lot of code that references Angular routes with backslash, pound sign, backslash, or backslash, pound sign, or pound sign, backslash. So you have to go find these 3 cases and add the exclamation point, or else it's going to break the app. It's going to break HTML elements binded to them, and then there's JavaScript code that actually calls this route using strings like that, and so a lot of stuff broke when I upgraded. This file is currently not being loaded in the gulp file. It's commented out. If you want to test it, Angular 1.7, you can uncomment out this custom shims file in the gulp file.
Hello, I'm Manas Mapuskar, team professors, and today I'm going to talk about my wish list and some of the defects, you can say, of the patents and licensing features. So, following are the wish list, or the shortcomings which I request for the future students. This includes for adding more features and information in the landing page, improve the licensing inquiry form using the without bootstrap, adding text cases using Selenium ID, getting more response from the TMC office. Now explain you each and everything using the actual website. So getting onto the website, about when I say about adding more feature into the landing page, I would say that using more space on this side, so that we can get more information about it. Also, I would like to add an FAQ, that is frequently asked question tab, you can say, or a button or a drop down behind below this, so that the users or the professors can get more information. You can achieve this by frequently contacting the TMC office, so it is more important for the next students to contact the TMC office, because they know everything about the patents and licensing department of the FIU. So the FAQ, that is frequently asked questions, is more important. Also regarding the landing page, the submit inquiry form, this is Google form, it would be quite good if we just make a proper form rather than using a Google form, and it can be achieved using UI.bootstrap, such a thing. Also, the last thing is using Selenium ID to create Selenium tests of this page. Currently we are using on this script of the Selenium, but it is recommended to create test cases for so that we can get all the important validations that we require. So this is Madhav Aviskar, and thank you for watching this video.
Hello everyone, my name is Aditya Tiwari and I'm a part of Team Professors. So my wish list for the upcoming students would be to work on these things. First of all, improve the user interface of the data tables that display the user profile. With that, I would say that it means that in the LinkedIn integration where I have added a tabular view for faculty to review students, I think there's a scope for us to maybe beautify this data tables and display only the users that we search for. As of now, it's okay, but maybe there's a chance to redo that part. Add more social media digital content, example Twitter, GitHub, blogs, research websites and papers. I would say that yeah, maybe adding more Twitter, GitHub, blogs and research websites or publications of research to the profile might be a good way for even improving our user experience for making connections using VIP. So that is something that I would also wish to save for the future, and maybe migrate to some other software other than SourceTree. Well, SourceTree has been like good, but at times there were a few problems. Due to that we wasted a lot of time. So I would suggest that if we could maybe replace SourceTree with something, that would be better, and upgrade to a newer version of Angular. The current version that VIP is using is quite outdated, so I would suggest that maybe moving to latest Angular would be a better option, because it would even support Bootstrap 4 with much more efficiency. So thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, you can RSVP me at the following details below.